we are live with another edition of Zero Hour, where I am joined by none other than Half-Assed Ready, as well as Ohiovallyprepping.
Good evening, everybody.
And our special guest tonight, the Orlando Prepper.
What's up, guys? Oh, nice shirt.
Look at
right.
that.
OP Nation.
I got that 0 hour.
There you go. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, there we go.
Excellent. Well, let's go around the table just in case anybody is tuning in for the first time, and we'll go this way so we end on Orlando. So, Half-Ass, why don't you tell everybody who you are?
All right, I'm Half-Ass Ready. You can call me Mark, or you can call me Ray J, or you no. No, look, I got a real simple channel. I just talk about prepping and life and gardening, and sometimes I get pissed off and talk about politics, but not very often. So, but I'm glad to see y'all. Thank you for joining us.
Yep, OVP.
Sounds
next.
about right. I'm Ohiovallyprepping. Yep, Ohiovallyprepping. We talk about prepping, survival, a little bit of current events, and whatever else comes to mind. So good to see everybody. Welcome to the show.
Perfect. And our special guest, the Orlando Prepper, sir. Tell everybody about you.
Yeah, what's up, guys? My channel, basically what I try to teach people how to build things and save money and do things for themselves instead of having to go out and buy it. Like we did the solar generator build and a Faraday cage build, a couple other things. Also concentrate a lot on solar energy, firearms, and communications.
Perfect. Let's run through and see who's here tonight. Well, it's right there. It is the Orlando Prepper. That is right. We got a few people in here that we have already gone through, but I saw backstage that Kane had a really, really good question. And so let's see if I can, because I know it was kind of down here, because he was asking about the rain down in Texas. So I think that'll be definitely the first thing that we talk about. Let's hit OVP up first. Ohio Valley, what do you think about this rain down in Texas?
That was crazy. I mean, if anybody's seen the time lapse of that river going up 26 feet in like 45 minutes, and of course, that's weather is probably one of the most important things that we prep for, because it's the most likely thing to happen, is some kind of natural disaster, whether depending on where you live, whether it be flooding, tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, whatever, right? So it's a good lesson, I mean, this is one of the things we prep for, and it's unfortunate it happened. You got to pray for them people down in Texas, because, man, you watch the videos of that, it was just crazy. So, and they still haven't found everybody, and hopefully they find more people okay than not, but it's a bad situation down there.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it is. Half Ready, what do you think?
Well, again, I can relate to what's going on down there. That's close to home for me and my channel and all the folks here in West North Carolina. And believe me, I'm praying for y'all. But not exactly sure what they mean by blue rain. I know what blue snow means, but it is something you need to be prepared for it all the time. I'm not sure how well the weather's NOAA come out with warnings for those folks, and again, we'll sort all that out later. But when you live in a flash flood prone area, you should take all the precautions you can. But again, man, any kind of weather event, whether it affects you by drowning you, or it affects you by taking out your power and your communication and your ability to transport yourself somewhere besides your home, you need to prepare for that. So
yeah, absolutely. Orlando, what do you think?
Well, what disappointed me the most about that whole thing is they were in a drought condition before that. That's known. But there was actually a company that had been seeding the clouds to make it rain. Now that's the one actual weather control kind of mechanism we have that we know works. So I don't know if they overdid it or if actually, they did their thing and then, a couple of fronts moved in and caused this. But I mean, I know we just need to pray for those folks down there. They're in terrible shape.
Oh yeah, very much.
If you watch the radar imagery of them, the two fronts crashing into each other and just exploding, I've never seen anything like that. I really haven't. So
yeah. I'd like to address what Coyote just said. Look, I'm not saying it was because of cuts, Coyote. I'm saying the same thing I've been saying about the FCC and the FAA and everything else for a long time. This infrastructure is antiquated, outdated, overused, overworked.
Yep.
I know. I think the people who work at the weather monitoring stations probably are some of the hardest working people in this country, just like our air traffic controllers. But when you're dealing with ancient shit, this is where it goes. I mean, this is what happens when I talk about infrastructure. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not just, I don't think it has anything to do with cuts.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah. No,
I
I
see
agree.
what Cody said, and I understood. Yeah, I wanted to.
No, I get it. I get it. I agree. It's when you got government involved, I think most of your workers are there because they want to be there and do stuff. It's the people above and the red tape and don't want to be sued and all that stuff. So, but Blackbird has a good one. I wonder how many people would be ready if the lights went out tomorrow. So my question that I'm going to ask to you guys is how much, like maybe a percentage, how many people do you think are prepared, and are you prepared yourself? So Orlando, you kick us off.
Yeah, I'm not worried about us right here, but the people around me. I'm talking right here in my neighborhood.
Mhm.
I think they do see lights here when there's no lights in the neighborhood, because it's not really a long-term situation. We know that when it happens right now. But if it was a long-term situation, if we thought it was, like grid down or something like that, widespread, they wouldn't see anything here, because I know they would be a problem, because the people around me, they have probably nothing.
Yeah.
And that's just going to be a threat to us.
Oh yeah, definitely. Half ready. What do you think?
Well, I know what the statistics are. I've actually done a video about that not too long ago, but the federal government poll numbers say that there's 7.6% of Americans are preppers. Okay. So let's assume that 7% is ready for the lights to go out. Okay. So guess what? That still leaves 93% who aren't ready for the lights to go out. So yes, I'm ready for the lights to go out. I proved it. 15 days here with no power, 17 days with no cellular communication. So it ain't fun, but it's doable, and it don't take a lot to be prepared for that.
Yep, definitely. OVP, what do you got?
Around here in my area, I'm mostly in a rural place. Here in town, there's not very many people ready. Now, if you get outside of town into the farmlands and that, a lot of them people have generators and things like that, and so they would be okay. Us personally, we had a remnants of a hurricane come through here, and I think it was 2009, and we didn't have power for 9 days, and we were fine. It was like August, so it was a little hot out, but we were fine. I mean, we had food, we had water, no big deal. So yeah, we're ready for something like that. I'm not concerned about that personally, but the people in town here, I would say, Mark said 7%. I think that would probably be a stretch. But if you got outside of town, I would say at least half of them people have generators and things like that, and they would be fine. So, but in town,
I think their 7% number was people who identify as a prepper.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
I don't know what extent they were talking about as far as prepping goes.
I saw that survey you're talking about with a 7.5%, and those are people that say they have.
Right.
But FEMA recommended 3-day supply of food and water.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a good way to die right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to die in about 4 days. Yeah.
That's a good way to die.
Oh, there we can take a half break right there because he's got a good question on what flavor apple juice do you have tonight?
I have Granny Smith apple juice. Yeah.
Granny Smith.
There we go. And I've got the orange in here tonight. So
There you go.
Vision made a good point. He said 73% of Americans have no generator of any kind.
Wow.
yes.
And the 27% that do are probably, like I was saying, in my area, out in the farmlands and things like that. You know, as far as in town, it's probably practically zero. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So,
Very much so.
And it's sad because everything is so cheap right now. Solar generators cost twice what they do now. And they're so readily available right now. If people don't have them, it's their own fault.
You know, technology is about the only thing that ever goes down in price. Yep. So we'll leave rural out of this conversation since he's the pup. But the rest of us remember when VCRs come out and they were $4,000, you know, and by the end you could pick one up for like $20.
So
I feel attacked.
My signal died for a second.
I mean, hang on now. I actually still watch VHS, so
Yeah, I still have a player myself.
I was going to say.
Don't watch the videos that don't have a sticker on them.
Yeah.
You know, generators just have to battle.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be able to maintain that generator. And you need fuel. And again, the experience of 15 days without power is easy if I could have went to the gas station and got all the petrol I needed, right? And we not just me, I'm talking about Western North Carolina. Hell, I know people who had a generator that couldn't use it for 4 days. Couldn't get gas for it. Right?
Yeah.
If you're prepping and generators are part of your prep, and it should be, I agree with that. But if you're prepping generator, you need to prep not only the gasoline, but another spark plug, an oil change. Yeah. I changed my oil 3 times. You know, again.
And multi-fuel. They need to get multi-fuel if they can.
Yes.
Yeah. So, did you see what Ghost said? Ghost lives in a huge town, but a bigger town, you know. He said 476 apartments in his area, and none of them but him and one other person has a power backup. That's because the only reason the other person does is because they talk to him.
Yeah. I had a lot of. Well, I actually ended up cutting another right after Helene because so many of my friends, family, coworkers were asking me about, you know, how to do that, what to do about that, you know, because it was really in the forefront after Helene came through.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a good one right there. I wonder how many people actually do light discipline. Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it
wasn't here. It was somewhere else. I'll be honest. I'll tell you, it was in South America, but it wasn't here.
Yeah, there's a lot, you know, and anything that we talk about or any other channel talks about, it's all debate, right? You know, when somebody says, well, if you do this generator, you got to do this other generator because of noise or this or that, and blackout curtains and not blackout, everything's a debate. But, you know, right here, if you have the ability to keep the lights on and the power's out, make sure if I don't want any people to see my lights, do I have light discipline to where Nobody's going to tell that I have power.
Yep.
Well, everybody talks about boarding up your windows. Okay. During a storm, yeah, you need to do that. But, lumber is so expensive right now. Plywood is so expensive right now. But you're just talking about blacking out. Okay. Get you some duct tape and some tinfoil.
Yep.
Get you some cardboard. Spray one side of it black and let that face your window. That way it just looks dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'll do this. And by the way, for anybody who is new, we go 100% off chat. So whatever questions you guys have, drop it down in the chat and we will get to it. But where do you guys stand? And you can say multiple, but if you had to pick one single generator, are you going to go solar? Are you going diesel? You going gasoline, propane? Or what's the one generator you would lean toward?
Well, because I still live in town, we're working on getting a homestead generator because of the noise. Because I don't want the neighbors knowing I got power, So that would be my first choice.
Fantastic. And half ready. What about you?
Well, I'm going with a dual fuel.
Okay.
And I do live in the country, and I am work system for my generator, but my generator was just gas, and after Helene, I'm going to do a video on that. I'm getting ready to convert mine over to propane and gasoline. But yeah, I'm going with dinosaur fuel, man.
Got it. And Orlando, what do you think?
I think you should go with solar right now. Like I said, everything's so cheap. You're going to know you have it. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I have both, and I purchased a large. I have a whole house 240 capable solar generator, but my thing is, I live in the mountains, Orlando Prepper, and I live on the north side of the mountain. Solar is going to take me a minute to recharge that big generator, right? And if I have it in about an hour and 10 minutes, straight off the generator. So I've got an hour and 10 minutes I have to cover my ass, and then nobody will hear me again. So,
I guess it would actually depend on what you wanted to power up. You have to have a massive solar array if you're going to run everything in your house. But to just survive, a system like that is not that big or not that expensive, and you'll never run out of sunlight.
Right.
For sure.
Which I like what local preppers got here. LP's got the good one. Know your neighborhood, because a few days later it's not going to matter. And this is the way, because it's all perception. Your neighbors know whether you have solar or the lights on or whatever. They know your home.
Yeah.
So you can black out everything and move the cars and hide everything, but they're still going to know, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And believe me, them some bitches will show up too, buddy.
Yeah, but
because I'm in the country. Everybody here has a well, correct? Well, I've got 240 generator. I can power my well. Now, these son of bitches showing up for water and to charge their damn. Look, man, I'm telling you, dude.
Yeah.
People look.
If your neighbors know you, they also know that you're well protected. So they might think twice about going, well, maybe we shouldn't go up there,
are older in general. I have some new younger ones, but they're my age or older. And dude, they were as prepared as I was. Maybe their generator was just running the refrigerator. But they did know that I could get water, and they could contact me if that was the case and they needed water. I did haul
and you could
water,
always
but
part of that too if you needed to,
Yes, very much.
But you know, they were taking care of themselves for the most
yes,
part.
yes. Which I like. Tuck's got a good one right here. Worried about the gators, hogs, coyotes, loose dogs, snakes, all the creepy, pretty, all those things. So Orlando, if SHTF just goes, and we're talking long term, not just a day or two, how worried are you about the wildlife there?
Well, right here, not much, but at a bug out location, you know, we got wildlife out there, but the way I see it, it's just food.
Yeah.
Yeah. OVP, what about you?
Yeah, that's the same thing. I mean, in my area, I'm lucky we don't have like bears, and you know, we don't really have many poisonous snakes. You know, you might go 10 years without ever seeing a poisonous snake around. We have snakes, but like garter snakes, and black snakes. And, you know, we don't have a lot of like big bad animals that's going to get you. You know, but you know, they're like Orlando said, they're just food. You know, so.
Oh yeah, very much. Half ready. What do you think?
You know, look, it ain't even shit hit the fan, and Saturday morning I'm watching a bear walk through my damn yard. The other night, my security camera got to go run deer out of my tomato patch. You know, it's part of life here in Western North Carolina. Okay, here you're going to have bears in your yard. You're going to have deer in your neighborhood. Coyotes are a problem here too, but you know, it's just part of life for me. That really don't concern me. In fact, that, you know, a couple of shotgun back for another two.
Yes,
right.
Very much. I see a bunch of people was talking about our audio, and everything's coming through for me.
Yeah.
Until I started playing it on our phone, and it is very,
really?
very choppy. So I'm going to try and hit refresh. You gentlemen don't go away. Give me like it'll be like 20 seconds. All right. There we go. Let's see if that works.
Okay, we did a little shuffle, but
hey, I'll move.
I seen Hudson Valley had a good question.
Oh, let me scroll back up there and get.
He put it all in caps. So
thank you, Nick Easy.
Yeah, if you guys don't mind, put your questions in all caps, please.
No, it's still choppy. I don't know what it is. Everything's good on our end. I hear you guys beautifully. I apologize to everybody, but
yeah.
Let's see. Where is Hudson Valley? Read it off.
It says a question for the panel. What tools do you recommend a prepared citizen should have on hand?
Good.
Oh, there you go.
Very good. Yeah. That's a good one. OVP, kick it off.
Yeah. Obviously, you know, if you have a generator, you need tools available to fix that, and you know, just general tools to fix whatever might come up. You also need some, you know, specialized tools like for your Freedom seed dispensers and things like that, because what is it? Anything that can go wrong will, right? I mean, it's how it works, right? So, yeah, I would have a multitude of tools available to fix whatever comes up, because you never know what's going to go wrong.
Perfect. Orlando, what about you?
Well, you know, the hand tools and stuff to, like he said, take care of our defensive tools. We all pretty much know we need those, but here's the ones a lot of people overlook. Get hand tools for harvesting wood. Get you an axe, get you a saw, get you a hatchet, you know, get you some good tools to do that with, because like I said, it's so easy to overlook that. And if you're somewhere where it gets cold and things absolutely go sideways, that's heat. That keeps you alive.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Very good one. Half ready, you?
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Show and Tell, and thank you, Nick Easy. Y'all are awesome. You're right, we are breaking up.
We are.
But you know, I'll do the best I can with broken up. But you know, check out my video on force multiplication, and any tool that helps you force. You need a wheelbarrow, a hand pump. Yeah, you need the saws, but a shovel and a rake. Hand tools. You need hand tools. Basic farmer hand tools. You need them, and whether you ever use them, but you need those tools, and you need a decent toolkit, mechanics toolkit to keep stuff running. You know, I mean, if we're talking about a total EMP where your chainsaw ain't working, well, you may not have to worry about those tools. But if we're just talking about a weather event where your shit's still working, you need to be able to maintain your chainsaw and your generator and your well pump and these sorts of things.
Yep, very much. Yeah. And I've always done the thing. We've always said, turn off the breaker, right? And then try and live life. Do your next project without electricity.
Yeah.
And that'll tell you what tools that you need.
Yep. That's a great point.
Tuck has a good one here that he's concerned with, but that brings up a good point. How do you guys recommend somebody to do all the nuisance things? Your flies, rats and mice, all those other little creepy crawlies, because once SHTF goes around, you're not talking pest control, you're not calling the 1-800, get rid of mice guy. How are you going to alleviate that so it doesn't get into your food and things like that? Orlando, what do you think?
Well, yeah, it's good you come to me first, because down here, man, it's terrible. We got every kind of bug and reptile you can think of down here.
Yes, you do.
But you just have to start, studying natural, just like you would do with medicines, natural remedies, natural repellents for these things. Orange peel. You turn it inside out and you rub it on your dog or your cat, fleas will not get on your animal. You just, you got to come up with stuff like that. And a good place to do that is there's a lot of Native American sites that these people have been doing this for, thousands of years. You can learn so much from those folks.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a good resource for everybody.
Yeah. Half ready?
Well, basic sanitation is so important when it comes to vermin and mosquitoes not leaving the open water out. Basic sanitation is going to help that problem a lot. And Vision, I have one now. I have a solar toolkit. Thank you. Again, thank you. I mean that in the sense of thank you, not smart ass wise, but yeah, I think basic sanitation will help prevent a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Very much so. Which I like JD right there. Duct tape. One, is duct tape a good tool? And two, what give me one or two things that you would use duct tape for? And OVP, what do you think?
You can fix anything with duct tape and zip ties. I like what KP said about cats. Yeah, we have a few cats, so like we get no flying insects or mice or anything. And we might get them in the house, but they last like 15 seconds, and that's the end of them. So, but yeah, I mean, duct tape's I would say one of your major tools you should have on hand, because it's got so many. You can start fires with duct tape. It burns. I mean, there's so many uses for duct tape that we could do a couple hours show on duct tape alone. But, yeah. I mean,
that's very true. Very true. Half ready?
Well, yes, duct tape. I have. Yeah, every time I go to Harbor Freight, I buy a roll of duct tape. So every time, whether I purchase anything or not, but you duct tape is, well, again, Orlando Prepper was talking about taping something to your window, right? Nuclear fallout tells you to hold on to 8 mil plastic and duct tape. So yes, duct tape is an imperative tool. Yes, including in your preps.
Yes, Orlando, what do you got?
Well, like both these guys said, we all know duct tape is pretty much a universal tool.
Mhm.
You got to have it. I don't care what kind of project you're working on. Eventually, you're going to get there where you need duct tape.
Mhm.
So just get you plenty of it and keep it on hand.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
back to the bugs thing. Like JD and Love and Life are talking about in the chat. There's a lot of, you can make bug repellent yourself, and there's certain plants you can plant around your house that bugs just don't like. Now, I need to do a little more research on that because I don't know exactly what they are. So that's something that I need to work on myself. But yeah, you can. There's ways to naturally keep the rodents and the bugs and stuff away from your house without having to go buy stuff at Walmart or Menards or whatever. So,
well, knowing you're lucky, you probably planted all the ones that attract them. So,
yeah, probably, yeah.
there's a good one: bolt cutters, and I'll even throw in like a crowbar or something like that. Is that an actual needed thing? And you're already excited, so Orlando?
Yeah, I mean, you got to get you a good 36-inch pair of bolt cutters. It's going to cut some big bolts, big locks, because it's going to be in a total SHTF situation. There's going to be a lot of these self-storage places that people don't go back to, and you'll be able to get in there and rummage around and find a lot of good stuff.
Very nice. Very nice.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Your turn, OVP. Go ahead.
Yeah, bolt cutters. Yeah, I would definitely keep some on hand because, like OP was just saying, people are going to lock places up, and your average person isn't going to be able to get in there.
Right.
So when your supplies finally do run out, however long that takes, 6 months, a year, whatever it is, you're going to have to start going and resupplying, right? And you're going to be able to need to get into places that people haven't already went through. So
yes. And Half Ready, your thought?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've got a set about as long as my leg, and
There you go. Yeah.
comes in. Thank you, local prepper. But I also keep a roll of, well, not a roll, but I keep about 120 foot of chain. And yeah, if you don't have power, you don't have a grinder, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I need that big ass bolt cutter to cut that big ass chain out.
Mm-hmm.
So, bolt cutters, definitely an essential prepper tool. And do not go by the little. You'll find out that old man hemorrhoid walk if you try to cut something with those. Okay, I'm just telling you. You need the big ones.
That's right.
Yes.
get some leverage in. Yeah.
Excellent. And there's a good point right there. Assortment of fasteners. What do you guys think? Should we get some fasteners? OVP, do you think so?
I mean, hey, anything that you think you're going to need, you should get. Fasteners, yeah, sure. You have some bolts, nails, screws, things like that laying around. Of course, you have duct tape and zip ties, which they're fasteners, right?
Yep.
So yeah. I mean, if you think you're going to need it, maybe you plan on boarding up your windows or something like that. You're going to need screws, things. Yeah. So yeah.
Excellent. Orlando, what do you think? Fasteners?
Yeah, I want to play off of that right there that he was just talking about. The bolts and screws. Don't throw away any.
Here you go.
I don't care what you take it off of or where you got it. You should have 4 or 5, coffee
Yeah, don't throw away coffee cans either. Yeah, hell yeah.
No, because in your workshop, if you take the lid and screw it to the bottom of your thing, you can just.
That works better with peanut butter and mayonnaise jars.
It does, yeah. Well, yeah, but if you get the instant coffee things that you bought, the screw on lid, they work good too. So yeah,
believe me, we have talked about this, guys.
Yeah, what were we talking about?
We're that close to being hoarders.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool stuff. If it's cool, you got to hoard it.
Yes.
We've all got something sitting in our toolbox, and we said, "I'm going to keep this," and it's been in there for 20 years.
Yeah.
And and we're not going to throw it away because one of these days we might use it.
Look, I bought a box of American SAE fasteners and a box of metric fasteners, and I put them on a shelf. And I thought, man, now I will have fasteners. I still don't grab those damn boxes. I still go to my coffee can and train. So no, don't throw away nothing.
I'm sure you gentlemen will agree that you do. You find that thing, you hold on to it for 20 years, and then the time comes, you throw it away, the trash man comes, and then Monday morning, you're like, oh, I needed that.
Well, you just don't throw it away, you don't have that problem.
Yeah.
There you go.
As soon as you throw it away, you're going to need it.
Yeah. And which Lady Prepper brings up a really good one.
My girl, I love the girl.
Yes. And so, one, I'll ask each one of you is, are you good on medical? And two, have you used any of your medical preps recently? Half ready, what do you got?
Nobody's good. Okay? You're not good. If you think you're good, you're not good. So, no, thank God I didn't do any damage to myself during Helene. So, but we are in the process of, in fact, I watched my wife this afternoon reorganizing our medical, getting rid of some stuff that's expired, blah, blah, blah. But no, you're not good on medical, no matter how good you think you are. And if you are good on medical, are you good on dental?
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm just saying, no, I'm not good on medical, and neither are you. So there you go.
Excellent. And when's the last time you pulled something out of your preps?
Jesus, Pete, man. I think I was at the beach and I stubbed my toe on a damn pine tree because I was wearing flip-flops like a moron. But, yeah, I think I pulled a Band-Aid out of it.
Nice.
Maybe some Tylenol.
There you go.
But,
there you go. OBP, what about you?
Yeah, I agree. You can never have enough. And like Tuck just said, you need to hoard gauze because if you've taken a Stop the Bleed class, or if you've ever been in that situation, the amount of gauze it takes, it would shock you. Okay, so you're never going to have enough gauze. I don't care if you got a room full of it, you can always use more. You know, so when I feel like I have enough, no, I probably never will feel like I have enough. And as far as the last time I used some, we went to the beach just a little local like lake beach last summer, and little kid next to us got stung by a bee, and I had some of them sting relief pads in my pack. So I gave them to the little girl's mom and said, "Here, this will help." And
nice.
That's probably the last time I used any of it. Though.
Yeah.
But luckily, because you don't want to have to use this stuff, But
very awesome.
So,
very awesome. Orlando.
Hey man, Lady Prepper will tell you, we use it almost on a daily basis because I do a lot of work on a lot of projects, and I'm pretty accident prone. But you can be good. I think we have a good supply laid in, but you can always do better. Don't ever let up. It's like we have a practice suture kit here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people don't have that. Buy it. It's cheap. Learn how to suture. Stuff like that. But hey, on a daily basis, I'm usually cutting myself or knocking my head on something or something.
Love it. Yeah, that's one of the biggest dangers, I think, is people go through and they grab all this medical stuff. They hear people talking. It's cool. Got to grab it. Learn how to use it. Yeah. Don't get dental supplies or sutures or all sorts of stuff, and you don't know how to use it. That could be very, very bad. Let's see. I saw vision. Oh, real quick. I used my medical today because little Earl was helping me outside, and he got something in his eye. And I get a perfect one. Grid down. How long can you keep frozen food frozen? Half ready. You started.
I can keep frozen food frozen a long time now. Okay, I know I can keep it frozen for 15 days, but my opinion on that is study up on how to keep don't open your freezer. Have a plan to eat refrigerator, then freezer, then prep food. You have that plan, but yeah, Billy. But yeah, I can keep food frozen as long as I can keep electricity on. But my plan is not to do that. My plan is to use the stuff that I can't keep frozen, and then I don't have to use that electricity.
Yeah. Orlando, what do you got?
Yeah, we could pretty much do it here indefinitely the way I have my solar set up. But, like Cap already said, I'm going to use that first.
Yeah.
Charge those batteries to run those appliances because I can use it somewhere else. That's simple.
Mm-hmm. Yep. OVP?
Yep, that's the same here. We don't keep a lot of frozen food on hand. So as far as how long I can keep it frozen, I don't know. It'll be gone long before it thaws out. So, because like I said, that's the first time like that. So if the grid goes down, I'm not worried about keeping the refrigerator on. Okay, we don't keep a lot of stuff in there. So if it all thaws out, like I said, it'll be gone before it thaws out. And after that, I don't care if the fridge is cold or not. So,
Right.
But now there is a way around that. And I've talked about this before that, we're looking for some land outside of town to start doing some homesteading for that. The first thing I'm going to do is build what you call an ice house or an Amish freezer or whatever. And after that, I can keep food frozen for ever without power because it don't take power to keep it frozen. It don't use power at all. So, something like that, if you have the land and the ability to do something like that, look into something like that because then you don't have to worry about it. You can buy a whole cow, and if the grid goes down a year later, that'll still be frozen. So
Yes, which I learned from a very, very wise man at class at a certain weekend, that if you take water and put it into your freezer and the power goes out, that ice will keep it colder longer.
Yeah.
And if you're going to use your generator, you only got to plug it in for the compressor to kick on. Once it kicks off, they don't need that power no more. You can unplug it and go take your generator or whatever and use it for something else.
Yeah. That's doing the math, sir.
Doing the math. That's right.
Nick's got a question.
I'm rolling through the chat. Read it off to me.
It says, he said he asked in Super Chat, he says, no access to fuel. World's gone crazy, and you're out of fuel now as well. What do you do?
Ooh. Well, you read it. You started off.
Nick, I don't really need fuel for anything. I mean, like I said, we got solar generator, so I don't need fuel for that. We got our prep, so as far as if the vehicle's out of gas or something like, which I keep the vehicle full, the van, but we don't really plan on going anywhere. So, the world's gone mad. Well, we're not going to be driving, so it's still going to be full of fuel whenever we do decide, hey, it's time to go. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about there being no fuel, personally.
Yes. And Orlando?
Hey, I talked about this on Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
If you watched my live stream, you saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you can buy an actual hand fuel pump very cheap. They run between like $150 and $250. And when that service station down the road can't sell gas because they don't have power, you'll have the ability to pump it out of the ground. You'll be the richest guy in the neighborhood. So that's something you need to look into right now. Like I said the other night, there's probably not another one anywhere around here anywhere. But when the lights go out and they're out for good, hey, you'll be a rich man if you can pump that gas out of that tank.
Yes. Half ready?
Yeah. Look, when the fuel runs out, it runs out. Okay.
Right.
It's a finite resource. No matter how many vehicles you have full of fuel or how many gas cans you have, and when it's out, it's out. I have my opinions on the service station, the prepper.
Yeah, that was something else I thought about.
That is a discussion that Murmured and Press, my son, and believe me, we have gone in depth into that very discussion. But yeah, that's going to be a combat zone, and you need to be well armed and well equipped to go take that gas. But my opinion, fortify yourself and your home where you don't have to have the fuel. Solar generators are definitely a part of that.
Yep.
But I mean, I can sustain myself without going to purchase gasoline or diesel fuel or propane for a little while. Probably 30 days, maybe. But when it's out, it's out.
Yep.
So, you need to be prepared for that, especially in a total shit hit the fan.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be ready for that eventuality.
Can I add something right here real quick?
Yeah.
If you have a dual fuel generator,
Yep.
start stocking up on propane.
Mm-hmm.
You get those propane tanks, those 20-pound tanks that we all see, we hook to our grill or whatever. Those are good for 30 years. You can store them for 30 years.
Yeah. Very good advice on that one.
And Ghost brought up a good point. He said you better have the fuel keys to remove the lids off of those fuel tanks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're planning on pumping any gas out of them,
Yeah.
So.
Which one of my generators is actually a tri-fuel where I can do gas, diesel, or propane. And I went ahead and bought one of those little siphoning kits because if SHTF goes, any construction equipment or anything like that, I'm going to call it fair game.
Yep.
So,
Again, bring your boys with you when you go.
Absolutely.
oh yeah,
I'm just saying.
yeah.
I'm just saying.
Chance has a good one. When was the last time, and I already know Orlando's a thing on this one, when's the last time you dusted off, charged, and practiced with your radio? And since I know Orlando's answer, you can start off.
Yesterday. Go ahead, guys.
Half ready?
Well, I think I was on my first live on StreamYard when my son and I were trying out our new biophones. But no, I don't do it enough. It is a gosh, how do I say it? It is like one of the most important things that my group is working on.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Cool. It's definitely an important thing, and I don't work on it enough, and I'll be the first one to admit that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. OVP.
I'm still learning how to use them radios. So we have a couple. They're good and charged up. Or actually, Orlando Prepper did a video that I saved in my watch later list, so I could watch it about the Bofang radios and how to use them and that. And so yeah, I actually used mine quite a bit here recently because I'm still learning how to use them. So I'm still playing with it, So
yeah,
I hate to interrupt here, but I'm gonna add something.
Yeah.
That little Bofang UV5R, that little cheap radio. That's all you need, guys. You don't need all those big, fancy, expensive radios.
Nope.
Yeah.
That little radio will do anything you need it to do. And if you don't know how to do it, go over to my channel. I got a video that shows you how.
Yes. Yeah. And I have to admit, I've been playing with mine on the weekends, on and off. But it wasn't until here recently, in the past couple of weeks, I watched one of you guys, and he was like, "Look at my Baofeng. I have a Type C charger," and I'm like, "What?" So I'm still catching up. Trying to get up there to where I'm with all of you guys, but let's see on who's got the next question.
I'm just watching all the wrenches flying.
Yeah, that's mine. I'm just sitting here.
Yeah, I didn't even know somebody got booted. Hell,
Got me off track for a minute. I'm like, what's
Yeah,
going on?
I've
They
been
got it in.
laughing at Orlando Prepper. I didn't even know anybody got booted.
Yeah, they're right there. See, everybody's getting in there.
Oh yeah, they got it handled.
Yep. I just let it go. That's why there's so many wrenches on my channel, because I don't even know anything happened.
Yeah.
And I learned that from Orlando.
Yeah, I just got one of those, Chance, and it's got a C charger. But I have plenty of those chargers. But again, it's one more tiny cord I have to wrap up and put in the box with all the shit, right? But at the end of the day, can you charge the son of a bitch anyway, right? So I also have like probably 25 of the old Motorola walkie-talkies, the marine grade ones. That when we first started hunting, that's how we communicated, right? Those some bitches use AA batteries, and I've got boxes full of those. So at least I'll be able to talk amongst my group here.
That's what's important. I got radios right over here. I can talk all over the ones that me and my team use.
Yeah.
And like I said, they're just those little UV5Rs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But
the
little walkie-talkies, Orlando.
Yep.
As long as I can talk to the guy at the end of the driveway.
I can talk to all over the world, buddy.
Right on. Yeah. Dude. Yeah.
Yeah. And I see Chance. He was making a little bit of a funny, but signal mirrors. What about backup communication? What do you guys think about what should we use as backup? Would you guys use anything? And let's go OVP. What do you got?
Backup. Well, we've got a plan set up to leave notes and stuff in certain places and things like that.
Nice.
But a signal mirror? No, I never thought of that. That's actually a good idea, I guess. But I mean, and like Mark was saying, are you going to be able to charge your radios anyway? I mean, it depends on what the situation is, on whether that if we get a major an EMP or a big solar storm, even if you got those radios in that in a Faraday cage, eventually you're not going to have a way to charge them. If it fries out all the electrical equipment, so you got to have some kind of backup plan for communications without using radios and things like that. So.
I can see that. Freddie, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm with Vision on the no comms plan. Look, if I pull this flag off my whiteboard behind me, you're going to see the plan my son and I are working on. Merriman Press just dropped a pretty cool video about coded communication and nonverbal communication.
Nice.
So, yes, you need a plan, especially among your MAG for that. Just purchased some different color paracord to tie yellow ribbons on the old oak tree to signal the mag as they come by my place, whether they need to come hard, come easy, or don't come at all. Right? Nice. These are things. And look, signal mirror, you can contact aircraft with your signal mirror 4 miles away. 4 miles. Okay. So signal mirror should be in your go bag, in your every bag. Yes. Signal mirror, a piece of signal cloth. Just go check out Mervin and Press. He's big on that kind of stuff.
Yep. Orlando, what do you got?
Well, signal mirrors are great. Like he said, if you want to signal aircraft coming over, helicopters or whatever. But to use them to communicate, you have to learn Morse code.
Yep.
Right.
And people just don't take the time to do that anymore.
Nope.
Yep.
I mean, back in my day when, back in the 20s when I was a kid, we had to learn Morse code. But his deal with the paracord and the color codes, that's a great idea.
Yep.
But I honestly believe if you have your comm set up right, you have backup systems, you have solar power systems to charge them, you're never going to have a problem.
I agree with you.
Yeah, that's one of them, and I don't care what you use, right? It's prepping is very, very personal. You can use smoke signals, you can use the paracord, whatever it takes, Morse code. If it works for you, it works, hands down.
Yep.
Let's see if there's anybody else that goes through and says, Can any mirror be used as a signal mirror? What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
I wouldn't, you know,
I mean, as long as you can hold it in your hand, you know.
right. Yeah, I'm not carrying around one of them, you know,
Right.
7-foot, you know, vanity
Yeah,
mirrors out.
you don't want to jerk the one out of your shitter and try to, you know what I mean? But this V, okay, this V is a sight, okay. You look, I buy a Boy Scout handbook, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you
Because
go.
everything we're talking about right here, signaling with a mirror, Morse code, everything is in the Boy Scout handbook.
Yep.
It is in every go bag, every vehicle, every storage building here at my house. I was a scoutmaster for 12 years, okay? Not only does the Boy Scout handbook teach you about being a citizen, contributing to your community, it will save your life.
Yeah.
Put one
Yeah,
in your
here's what I would recommend. I don't know if they even make them anymore. The little compact cases that women used to use for makeup.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't know if they even make those.
Yeah.
anymore.
I think so.
But
yeah.
if they do, they're
Yeah.
perfect. They're they're like this big around, and they're in an enclosed hard shell case.
Mhm.
They're not going to break. Get one of those and stick it in your bug out bag, or you
Holy
get
shit! The shaving mirrors they issue in the Marine Corps. It's a piece of metal. It's just
Yeah.
shiny metal.
Yep.
Yeah, it works. It'll make a signal mirror. You know.
Which I love right there what Troy's got. Civil War, they use clothesline with certain hanging cloth to send a message.
Yes.
How
Yep.
nobody would even, they're just drying their clothes.
Look,
Right.
in
Right.
the Revolutionary War, the female spy, who they still haven't identified, would hang clothes on the Hudson River outside of New York, and the pattern she hung the clothes in would tell the cabbage farmer as he rode by from Long Island what to tell General Washington.
Yeah, it was a code.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yep. And then it looks like we're running out of time, so we'll end on visions. Do you prep for nuclear, and what and how? So it looks like OVP is raring to go on this one.
Yeah, he is.
Well, I mean, we have some potassium iodine pills and, plastic and duct tape and that. Now, if they drop one, in the next town over, I don't have a bunker, Those are expensive. I don't have the money for a bunker. So, I'm just going to glow in the dark with everybody else. But I'm not too worried about it, honestly. I mean, I really don't think anybody would nuke the United States. We may get EMP'd. That's, I think, not out of the realm of possibility. But I really don't think another country is going to drop a nuke on U.S. soil. I really don't. That's just me. I might be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. But, I'm not really, that's not a big concern to me. As preppers, you have to start prepping for the most likely situations in your area. Okay. In my area, it's pretty much weather and power outages due to weather, storms and snowstorms. That's pretty much all we really have in my little area. So that's our main focus of what we prep for,
Yep.
And then once you get all ready for those, then you can start moving down to, the next most likely thing until you get down to nuclear war and zombie apocalypse and whatever, But so I'm not overly concerned about nuclear war. Now, like I said, we do have some things in place in case that would happen. If it would happen somewhere else and maybe some fallout would come over this way, but so that's about as much nuclear war prepping as we do.
Got it. Half ready. What are you doing?
No, I don't. And I tell this. I remember my father when I joined the Marine Corps during the Cold War. My father was like, "Oh, what are you gonna do if they drop a nuclear bomb?" And I told him I'm going to grab my Tom Mix M16 and I'm going to get the nearest vehicle and drive right into the mushroom cloud. And I mean, what are you going to do? The possibility of what nuclear fallout will do to your area will make it impossible to grow food. You have to dig up 28 inches of topsoil And guess what? You're not growing food in topsoil after that, right?
Right.
Your water's going to be contaminated. Air's going to be contaminated. You're going to die. Okay. Now you can choose a quick and glorious death, or you can fade away in pain and agony. And I'm going to go.
Now I have thought about going out and getting a school desk from the 1970s and a science book, because they told us back then that if you got under the desk and put the science book on your head, you'd be just fine. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Orlando, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember doing that.
Yeah.
He's joking about it, but
Oh, we did it.
I did
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
you know.
So did we.
But seriously, I actually go along with both of these gentlemen here. We have the sheeting, the tape, stuff like that to try to seal the house off. But, like Half Ready there, especially here in Florida, I'm surrounded by military installations.
Yeah.
So when that person goes off, I want it to go off right up there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just take me out of here. I don't want to
Yeah.
have to suffer through, trying to live through a nuclear holocaust. Just
Yeah,
take
right.
me out.
Very much. And I'll even kick in. I've got two plans. If it's far enough away, then I've got the sheeting and all the pills and everything that I'm going to try. But if it's close, I've got sunglasses and a lawn chair. I'm watching.
Right.
This thing.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So-
HP everybody right in your backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go try and catch it.
Yep. I'm gonna be out
Yeah. There you go.
in the lawn chair with a cup of coffee and a cigar. Yep.
Yep. Just let's go for it.
Yeah.
So we've hit our end, and we'll keep Orlando as last, but let's do final thoughts, and let's go with Half Ready this time.
Look, we talked about some interesting stuff tonight, but at the end of the day, do what you do, keep doing what you've been doing. Think of something that you're not doing and do it. And most importantly, tell the ones that you love them.
Uh-huh. Very true. Very true. OVP, what do you got?
Guys, just keep prepping, because you never know when something's going to come down the pipe. We talked about this, the tragedy down in Texas. And, of course, like I said before, weather is one of the things we prep for the most. And, pray for those people down there. But, hey, you just never know when something's going to come around the corner and bite you, So
Yeah.
just keep prepping, keep doing what you're doing. Stay alert, keep your head on a swivel, and let's just hope nothing major ever happens. My idea of prepping is your main goal is for this to be a big waste of time.
Mhm.
Because if it's a big
Yeah.
waste of time, that means nothing bad ever happened, and it just ended up being a hobby. So
Amen.
Yeah.
but
Yes.
but don't give up. So
Yes. All right, Orlando, your final thoughts, and tell everybody where they can find you and your what time your live stream is.
All right, my live stream's on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. The Orlando Prepper. That's the name of the channel.
Yeah.
But the best advice I have for everybody is just like what these guys say. And what when I close out every one of my videos and my live streams, I think what I tell folks is what they need to do every day. Stay strong, keep prepping, and pray for the USA.
Very, very good. Excellent. And I will throw in my 2 cents of we took a wide array of questions tonight. It was on multiple topics all over the place,
Yeah.
and that should be your preps as well. Don't get focused on one thing just because it's cool or that's what somebody else is doing. Keep mixing it up, throwing new things in there, and before you know it, you'll be well covered. So
Yeah.
but we have hit our time limit, and so I do want to thank the Orlando Prepper for coming on
Yes.
tonight. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for having
we
me, guys.
appreciate it. We
Yeah,
appreciate
it was-
you coming on, hanging out with us.
Yeah, man.
Always a fun time, and I'm sure we'll have you back sometime in the future. But
Oh, yeah.
with that, guys, I'm going to bid everybody a good night.
Good night.